You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right, Logic Unleashed. How are you doing today? How you doing? You are now tuned in to the Mike's Opinion podcast, and I am Mike. And yes, we're here, right? As usual, you know I drop on Hump Day. I hope you're humping on Hump Day. I don't really know what I meant by that. You know what I meant by that. Anyway, coming up next on the Mike's Opinion podcast is an update episode. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about Putin. We're going to talk about the asteroid that we just hit. Yeah, we just hit an asteroid. If you didn't know that, we're going to talk about Lil Wayne. We're going to talk about a very well-known and volatile attorney general running away from his own house to escape being subpoenaed. All of that's coming up next on the Mike's Opinion podcast. So tune in, get comfortable, but not if you're driving or operating machinery of any kind. We don't want to have no accidents out there because you know we believe in the safety out here. We want everybody to be okay. So that's what's coming up next here on the Mike's Opinion podcast. Stay tuned. Be right with ya. And we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. As I said, you are now listening to the Mike's Opinion podcast. It's going to be a relatively short update episode. There's a lot going on in the world, and I'm trying to keep it light. This week. Plus, I got a lot going on. I want to say a big shout out, happy birthday to my son, who is now in the double digits officially. But we having his birthday party tomorrow, and so I'm gonna try to get some rest. It's late, had a long day, but you know I had to get it in. I started to drop a best of episode, but I was like, yo, this is season 5. It's only episode 2. By the way, while I'm speaking about that, episode 1. My wife joined me, and I always review the episodes a day or two later, and I realized, as I always have mentioned, there's audio issues. I need new microphones, y'all. Please support the show, please. Support the show. If you are a regular listener, first-time listener, long-time listener, support the show. Throw me $1, $5, something like that. It is needed, and it will go right back into the show. You will help this show get better and help it grow. I need new equipment. There's a GoFundMe link just right now. Go to the show notes. Very easy to get to. There's a link to my GoFundMe. If you want to hit me up directly, there's my Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal is there too. Also, spread the word, please, on all the social medias that you're on, you know, or anywhere where you're at. Share the show. Got some good friends. Say, hey, you want to laugh? You want to learn? Want to be entertained? Check out the Mike's Opinion podcast. Do that. You know, we don't do fluff here at the Mike's Opinion podcast. We being me. I'm the host, the producer. I do it all here, right? So, and eventually I'd like to change that, hire like a producer and sound and all the stuff that comes with growing a podcast, right? So, but tell people, share, like, comment, follow, subscribe. Do that on all the platforms, YouTube and, Apple, Spotify, all the places, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everywhere. I'm not on Snapchat actually, but, even LinkedIn, all the places. Support the show. I would greatly appreciate it. And it's much needed if you listened to that last episode. Hopefully this one should be a bit better. Whenever I have 2 people, and wifey, of course, was here with me in studio, aka my house. We need better equipment. I need better equipment so you can hear me better. Anyway, so support the show. Where we're going to start? We're going to start with the hurricane. It is the last few days of September 2022, and Hurricane Ian has wreaked havoc. Okay, the whole island of Puerto Rico, all power was knocked out. The whole of Puerto Rico, no power. Now, Cuba, no power. and it's headed straight for Florida as of right now. Predicting the direction of hurricanes is yet to be an exact science. So there's some variations in the prediction of where it's going to head. But shout outs, well wishes, and positive thoughts to everyone that has endured the wrath of Hurricane Ian and who is going to endure the path. I have family and loved ones in Florida that are very near and dear to me, the nearest and dearest that can be to me, who I love dearly. And, I communicated with them and hope that they're prepared, just basic stuff, candles, some canned food, flashlights. It'd be great to have a generator, right? But everybody doesn't think about that. But I told somebody today that, doomsday preppers, I think with climate change, with the volatility of humans on Earth, we got a national world leader threatening nuclear weapons usage. It can't hurt to have a couple backpacks or bug out bags, or if you really got some loot, like a nuclear fallout shelter about 10, 20 levels underground with about 50 years of food and water, or water purification pills. Believe me when I tell you, there are people out here on this planet that have that have bunkers built in the mountains, deep under the surface of this planet, that are well stocked and prepared and probably have contingency plans. But for us normal, regular, non-rich folk, we're on our own, right? Hurricanes, any natural or man-made disasters, we're on our own. So do the best you can to prepare. To my people in Florida and anybody, that's within my voice, have a couple things at the very least. I believe I did an episode about, being prepared for disasters. You can check that out. But, there are things you can do to at least stay alive long enough past the initial incident, whatever that may be. But these hurricanes, whether climate change is real or not, if you want to know where Mike of the Mike's Opinion podcast stands on that, I think it's real. How can something not have an effect? That's something being humans. Everything affects everything. Okay? We don't live one with the planet. We have just screwed up this planet, to be quite honest with you. We've been spewing pollution from cars and factories and cows and all kinds of things that contribute to the imbalance of the natural order of this planet, the naturalness of the planet, the organicness of this planet. So to think that man has not affected some of the critics, climate deniers as they're called, they say, the earth is too large for men to affect it. Really? Really? Okay. If you say so. But yeah, Hurricane Ian people and all future hurricane people, I hope you're going to be okay out there. But that leads me into my next story when I'm talking about how we affect the planet. You say, climate deniers. Men can't affect the planet. Really? Tell that to the asteroid we just hit. Yeah. If you're not one to ingest and keep an eye on current events and news items, and in this case, astronomy and news items, astronomy and space items, we being Earthlings, particularly NASA, hit an asteroid. Now, for me, this is ridiculously interesting. Very, very interesting. And let me tell you why. First of all, let me tell you the mission. It's called the DART mission. DART stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. Again, Double Asteroid redirection test. And that's exactly what it sounds like. We're trying to test the ability to redirect asteroids. And I couldn't help but wonder, were we in significant danger? Huh? What you think? And they didn't tell nobody. They said it was a test. But maybe, speculatively speaking, suppose it was an actual real threat. I mean, they had the cameras. You saw the last moments of this NASA vehicle crash into the asteroid. Supposedly. And I only say that because a lot of people think we never went to the moon. That was all shot on a film set. Who knows? Do any of us, again, non-connected, not deep family rooted in, richness and politics and governments and, Illuminati, if you will, or whoever's controlling stuff. Us regular folk who don't have any way to confirm any of this. We have to trust what is reported to us as truth, right? We have to trust that. So who knows if any of it is real? If there's a mixture, some's real, some's not real. Who knows? But supposedly, we crashed into an asteroid, successfully redirecting it. Now, there are incomprehensible. Is it incomprehensible or I'm going to go with uncomprehendable amounts of space to view. Okay. So can we and do we have the technology to monitor every asteroid that's out there? I don't know. I'm thinking not. Like that long one of Sabuma. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a really long one, and it came out of our solar system, came into our solar system, and exited our solar system. And a lot of people have speculated that might have been an alien ship. We ain't in the know, y'all. That's just the bottom line. And I often wonder if we're not in the know because it's like shit out there that would, if we knew, society would break down as a whole. Society seems to be breaking down, but in actuality, humans been doing this same human shit for millennia, which changes our capacity to know about it instantly. Like the Russian school shooting. Yeah, now I hadn't even planned on mentioning that, but there was a school shooting in Russia. Several kids lost their lives. And it sounds cliche, but my thoughts and prayers go out to them. Even though they're Russian, it doesn't matter to me. Hope it shouldn't matter to you. Children were killed. But when we talk about being in the know, we don't know. We're just trying to live our lives, right? These billions and billions of people on this planet Earth. Whatever this perceived reality is. What our purpose is. What our being, so-called alive, is. Yeah, but shout outs to NASA and what they doing out there, keeping the planet safe. Moving on. Lil Weezy. Lil Wayne. Is it Lil Tunchi? Tunchi? Anyway, shouts out to Lil Wayne who just turned 40. Yeah. Yo, time keeps on ticking into the future. Don't stop for nobody. And Lil Wayne is now 40-year-old Wayne. Still skateboarding, still making music, still doing whatever he doing with his life. But when I read that, I do research for any of my episodes, and I skimmed around, looking for interesting things to discuss. And I always just do things that catch my eye, and that I feel like sharing my opinion about. A lot of these well-known, very popular rappers, well, I would say popular to me, right? Because I'm sure, like, teenagers know Lil Wayne. A lot of people say he the GOAT. He's in the conversation, top 5, blah, 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 Jay-Z. All these people, they are up in their age, 40s and 50s, right? Pioneers of rap, which DJ Academics caused a firestorm when he was dogging them out a little bit. But the pioneers in their 60s, 70s. So I appreciate the time you have here on Earth. And shout outs to Wayne. Happy birthday to you, my brother. Never met you. Don't know you, but I have enjoyed many beats or many raps, many songs that you have dropped. So shout out to you. Happy birthday, Lil Wayne. But it's just astounding, when you think about it, 40 years old. Wow. Lil Wayne. Yeah. Moving on. I mentioned Russia earlier today. And Vladimir Putin, who has made himself the forever president of Russia, who has invaded Ukraine and recently gave fugitive Eric Snowden full Russian citizenship. And I'll touch on that more in just a minute. But Putin seems quite determined. And with any violent person, I gotta think, you're just a little dumb. Violence is dumb unless you are defending yourself or your property. So I get it. But that's not what he's doing. Or is he doing that? Maybe. Depends on how you look at it. I'm always open-minded. I try to look at all sides before I come to a hypothesis or some form of educated conclusion. But it appears that he's just like, yo, I want this land over here and I'm going to take it. So he just went through a process of, trying to enroll more people. And a lot of people said, back to Eric Snowden, that Eric Snowden now, as a full citizen of Russia, may now have to legally fight. And if he don't want to fight, he going to probably have to go to another non-extradition country and hope that he can stay there, or come back to the USA and face the music and face the charges. What do you think? You think Snowden was a rat? You think he did some good stuff? Let me know. Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com. I always welcome any and all interaction with you. So feel free to interact with me. Shoot me an email, slide into my DMs on any of the socials, or just post something on regular socials. You don't necessarily have to private message me or direct message me or instant message me. The IMs, the PMs, the DMs, all the M's, right? But, yeah, like I said, you could also email me directly, Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com. Go ahead and do that as well. But I want to know what you think about Snowden and also about Lil Wayne turning 40, because I'm always interested in other people's opinion, because as you know, I definitely have mine. But you know what they say opinions are like, and everybody has got one, right? But just the determination of Putin to do what he's doing, being just condemned by world leaders all over the place, but threatening to use nuclear weapons. I mean, atomic weapons were used by us here in the States. Nagasaki, Hiroshima, countless tests. And so it's not like they, these tremendously powerful weapons have never been used, because they have. But now, listen, I don't want us to go out like that. Who's us? Humanity. Now, there are those that got their Noah's Ark projects, like I mentioned earlier, deep in the side of mountains, deep underground, that are prepared to keep the human race going. Just like the Georgia Guidestones, which I did an episode on those, or I mentioned those because those were recently torn down. I want to say I did that maybe in another update episode, but those Georgia Guidestones, said humanity should be down to 500 million or less. And my understanding is there's more than 8 billion people on this world, on this planet, on this rock, the third rock from the sun. So let's not message to Putin. Yo, my man, if you happen to be a listener of the Mike's Opinion podcast, first of all, like, share, subscribe, follow, do all of that, please. I appreciate you. But we don't need nuclear weapons to exist. And we definitely do not need them to be used. Ever. So let's think about that. All right, Vlad? Shout out to Vlad. So, yeah. Moving on. I have a very interesting story that happened right here in Texas. This happened yesterday. Okay. Actually, day before yesterday, because I record the night before. So, yeah. So this happened on Monday. As you know, I'm born and raised in New York City, currently reside in Texas. The Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, who is under investigation, has lawsuits against him. He is in a very volatile situation and has not let that stop him. They tried to decertify him and his team, the governor and him. They tried to decertify election results. They tried to sue other states for their election results in the 2020 presidential election. But it is very hard for me to say that these people that run this state of Texas are not bigots, racist, misogynist, sexist. They're white males. Are all white males those things? No. Do the ones that seek to be in power mostly seem that way? Yes. Just like these founding fathers who you can't say shit about, who have their faces erected in stone in places like Mount Rushmore and countless other monuments. All the founding fathers were slave owners. I didn't make that up. It's just what it is. And this sentiment seems to have found safe harbor throughout time and throughout generations, and why the majority of people in governmental power are white males. It just is. It just is. I could be wrong. These could be kumbaya, lovely. They love every race, all women and children, like they're just great human beings. That's possible, right? Yeah? I'd love to know your opinion on that. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. And you can also find that in the show notes if you don't remember. But so there's yet another lawsuit. Server was serving the subpoena. According to reports, this is how it went down. Server went to the AG's house, Ken Paxton's house. His wife pulls up hops out of the car, runs into the house, hops back in the car, starts the car. All the while, this server has been there for about an hour, right? He's ringing the doorbell. Nobody comes. Then the wife finally pulls up, runs in the house, comes back outside. Then this attorney general, the lead lawyer in the state, runs to the car. Runs. Not walks. Runs. Hops in the car. Dashes off. The server tells him he's been served and drops the papers right there on the driveway. Turns out, after being interviewed about this incident, the AG didn't deny the incident. He said he was afraid of a strange man being at his house and thought his life was in danger. Now, are you to tell me, are we to believe that the attorney general wasn't privy and made aware that he was going to be served? Moreover, is not familiar with the process of being served a subpoena. Yeah. In the most recent development, turns out he got the subpoena quashed. There's no more subpoena for this. Look, these people are strongly connected in ways we don't even think about. Okay. Understand what I was talking about earlier about the white male network. Deep-rooted families that have held some position of affluence or power and influence for decades and centuries. Okay. They run with, associate with, hang out with, communicate with, are friends with lawyers, judges, congressmen, senators, governors, presidents, mayors, chiefs of police. The list, I could go on and on with this network of associations. And these are the lawmakers. These are the enforcers. These are the controllers. So, they don't want to share. They don't want to surrender control. And as this particular state becomes more and more diverse, and they keep painting the migrants and the border being overrun with illegal aliens and performing stunts like busing and planing people to sanctuary city states, or sanctuary states, really, sanctuary cities, and to the door of the vice president. It's no wonder that the subpoena was quashed. It's no surprise, really. And that an attorney general who's been under investigation for 7 years for a variety of things is still the attorney general and still evading what could possibly be justice. Right? I want to ask a question. They say if you can't beat them, join them. I could get into politics. I just don't know that I can make a real difference. So the question is, do you think we being the people, I'm talking about regular folk, should we get more involved in politics, in policing, lawmaking, the government? It's supposed to be a fair system that is for the people, by the people. We all know that's not the case. A lot of these are silver spooners, Ivy Leaguers, long-term family connected, rich people. Right? But what do you think you would do with that power? The power to make laws, the power to steer enforcement. Huh? I definitely am not going to say it's easy. These fellas got some tough choices to make. So I get it. But I just found it laughable when I read about this, and I hope they had video. I hadn't found any video. Just to watch an attorney general of a state run from being subpoenaed. I just thought that was funny. I hope you find it funny too, because I definitely did. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode today. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter episode. That was just a brief update of a couple of things that caught my eye. And again, shout out to all the people in Florida and any states. It's hurricane season. I hope Hurricane Ian is a lot less destructive than is being forecast. Shout outs to everybody in all the islands, Turks and Caicos, Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, all those people that are suffering down there. Even though I know they're accustomed to these kinds of things, nevertheless, it's not any less devastating when they live in these paradises. They're beautiful places, but this is what happens in hurricane season. So, like I said, my thoughts and prayers go out to all of them. And a special shout out if you are happen to listen into to anybody that suffered loss. I'll just say that. To anybody that suffered loss, particularly recently, I don't want to say too much, but thoughts and prayers definitely go out to you. My heart is deeply saddened with you. So, yeah. And you, the listeners, the supporters, thank you so much for listening and supporting. And as always, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing more than okay. I hope you're doing good. Real good. Remember, y'all, you gotta consciously fight for your happiness these days. Don't let anybody steal your joy. I know it's hard, but there are ways to do it. Listen to a couple episodes back, the stress episode, and keep that joy. Find things in your life that make you smile, that make you happy, regardless of any challenges, anything that any negativity that we face. Don't let it engulf you. Do not let it overwhelm you. This too shall pass. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, time stops for no one, and nothing lasts forever. I'm Mike. This is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.